Admiral Lorik Vance stared at the holographic projection with narrowed eyes, studying the alien vessel that dwarfed their entire defense fleet. After centuries of technological advances that had taken humanity to the stars, they were finally confronted with the reality that they were not alone, and more alarmingly, not welcome. "Play it again," he commanded, his voice echoing through the silent command center of the ESS Dauntless. The alien message flickered to life. A being with translucent blue skin and multiple sets of eyes addressed them in perfect English, a detail that sent chills down the spines of everyone present. "People of Earth, I am Grand Overseer McClassic of the Galactic Concordat. Your unauthorized expansion into sovereign space cannot continue. The Concordat has observed your species for centuries and determined you lack the maturity for interstellar citizenship. You have 7 Earth rotations to withdraw all colonial outposts beyond your solar system. Non-compliance will result in immediate sanction." The message ended, leaving only the image of the massive Concordat vessel, nearly the size of Earth's moon, hovering at the edge of Neptune's orbit. "Options?" Vance asked the room of Earth's brightest military and scientific minds. Director Kira Estley of Earth Intelligence stepped forward. Unlike most, her expression showed curiosity rather than fear. "They could have wiped us out without warning. Instead, they're giving us time. That suggests rules, protocols, perhaps internal disagreement about how to handle us. Or they're just cataloging our response for their xenological records before they exterminate us," General Dashin remarked dryly. Dr. Petra Morozov, head of xenotechnology at the United Earth Sciences Division, shook her head. "The Concordat is real. We've found references to them in ruins on Proxima b and Tau Ceti E. They appear to be a coalition of ancient species that regulate technological development across this arm of the galaxy. And they've decided we're not worthy," Vance concluded. "Not yet worthy," corrected the final person at the table. Esteban Ochoa, Earth's ambassador to the stars, a position created optimistically but never actually utilized until now, had been silent throughout the briefing. "This isn't a death sentence, it's a test. 7 days to surrender everything we've built beyond Sul," scoffed General Dashin. 17 colonies, 32 research stations, over 9 million human lives. To uproot, it's impossible. "Perhaps that's the point," Ochoa replied. "They're not expecting compliance. They're gauging our response." Vance nodded slowly. "The first contact scenario we never trained for. One where we're the unwanted invaders." He turned to the massive viewing window that showed Earth glowing blue and green in the distance. "We have 7 days to convince a coalition of ancient alien civilizations that humanity deserves its place among the stars." "Or?" prompted Kira. Vance's expression hardened. "Or we show them why they should have wiped us out when they had the chance." The next day, while the public was still largely unaware of the situation, 50 of Earth's top scientists, military strategists, diplomats, and historians gathered in the underwater facility beneath the Pacific, known as the Depths. They had 6 days left. "We've analyzed their ship's emissions," Dr. Morozov reported. "They're using gravitic propulsion far beyond our understanding, but with fascinating vulnerabilities. Their technology manipulates space-time at quantum levels, creating micro-wormholes for instant travel and communication. Can we replicate it?" Vance asked. "No, but we might be able to disrupt it." Kira Estley's team had been working through the night. "We've compiled everything we know about the Concordat from archaeological records. They're old, maybe millions of years old as a political entity. They expand, absorb new species, but only those that pass certain developmental markers." "What markers?" asked Ochoa. "That's the question that will determine humanity's survival," Kira replied, "and we have less than 6 days to find the answer." The human delegation's shuttle approached the Concordat vessel on the 5th day, a modestly sized craft compared to the behemoth that awaited them. Inside, Ambassador Ochoa adjusted his ceremonial uniform while Admiral Vance reviewed their contingency plans one final time. "Remember," Vance said quietly, "diplomacy first. Ochoa nodded. Always. But I'm not going in there to surrender. A shuttle docked with surprising ease, as if the alien vessel had reconfigured itself to accommodate human technology. The delegation, Ochoa, Vance, Dr. Morozov, and Kira Esley, stepped into an environment that defied expectation. Rather than alien and uncomfortable, the reception chamber appeared deliberately crafted to put humans at ease. Earth-normal gravity, breathable atmosphere, and even lighting that mimicked natural sunlight. Grand Overseer Miklasic waited with 3 other aliens, each distinctly different species. One resembled a massive arachnid with gleaming metallic exoskeleton. Another appeared almost human, except for the iridescent scales covering its skin and the 6-fingered hands. The third was a floating orb of light with occasional appendages that formed and dissolved. "Welcome," Miklasic spoke, his multiple eyes blinking in sequence. "You have not begun evacuation procedures." "No," Ochoa replied simply. "We've come to petition for reconsideration." "There is no appeal process," the spider-like alien clicked. "Your species has been evaluated extensively." "By what criteria?" Dr. Morozov asked. "We've broken no laws we were aware of." The luminous orb pulsed. "Ignorance of concordant directives does not exempt your species. You have exhibited concerning behavioral patterns, resource consumption rates, territorial aggression, technological acceleration without corresponding ethical development." "You've been watching us," Kira stated. "For how long?" "Since your first nuclear detonation," the scaled humanoid answered. "The Concordant monitors all potential spacefaring species." Admiral Vance stepped forward. "Then you've seen our capacity for growth and change. Humanity has overcome countless challenges. Through conflict," Miklasic interrupted. "Your species solves problems through escalation and competition rather than harmony and consensus. The Concordant cannot risk introducing such volatility to galactic civilization." Ochoa spread his hands. "We come seeking understanding, not conflict. Allow us to demonstrate our worth." The aliens conferred silently, communicating through means invisible to human perception. Finally, Miklasic faced them again. "We will permit a demonstration. One problem, one solution, to prove your species' value. But be warned, failure will result in immediate enforcement, not merely evacuation." "What problem would you have us solve?" Ochoa asked. The luminous orb expanded, projecting an image of a star system unknown to the humans. "The Vitari system has experienced catastrophic ecological collapse due to a quantum instability. 3 sentient species face extinction within 1 lunar cycle. 16 concordant specialist teams have failed to stabilize the quantum resonance. You want us to succeed where 16 advanced alien teams have failed?" Dr. Morozov couldn't hide her disbelief. "We want you to demonstrate why humanity deserves to exist beyond its birth world." The spider alien clicked. "You have 3 of your days." Back aboard their shuttle, the delegation sat in stunned silence until Dr. Morozov finally spoke. "They've set us an impossible task." "Exactly," Kira said. "It's another test, not of our capability but of our reaction to certain failure." Admiral Vance's expression darkened. "They expect us to either give up or try something desperate and destructive. Then we'll surprise them," Ochoa decided. "We have 3 days to solve an unsolvable quantum crisis or demonstrate something about humanity that will change their minds." As their shuttle departed, none of them noticed the small drone that detached from the concordant vessel and followed at a discreet distance, or the fact that throughout the entire meeting, the luminous orb had been studying not their words but their thoughts. "Absolutely not." Admiral Vance slammed his fist on the conference table. Back at the depths, Earth's leadership was fracturing under pressure. General Dashin remained unmoved. "We activate Protocol Omega. We have 37 antimatter warheads positioned near their vessel. One coordinated strike would likely do nothing except prove them right about us," Kira interrupted. "Their defensive capabilities are beyond our comprehension." "We have 36 hours left," Dr. Morozov reminded everyone. She had barely slept since returning from the concordant vessel, diving into the quantum data they'd been provided about the Vitari crisis. I believe I understand the problem, but the solution requires technology we don't possess. Explain it anyway, Ochoa requested. Morozov projected a complex diagram. The Vitari star has developed quantum instabilities at its core. Essentially, reality is becoming unraveled at the subatomic level. The effect is cascading outward, causing ecological systems to break down as fundamental particles begin to behave inconsistently. And how would the Concordat solve this? Vance asked. Based on what I've inferred from their technology, they would deploy quantum stabilizers, devices that can enforce consistent physical laws across a stellar region. Kira leaned forward. Which we can't build, but what if we don't need to? All eyes turned to her. We've been approaching this all wrong, she continued. This isn't about solving their problem, it's about showing them who we are. The Concordat could have solved this themselves. They've likely already prepared a solution. What they're testing is our approach. A new voice entered the conversation. Ambassador Ochoa, Admiral Vance, we've completed the analysis you requested. Commander Ryuzo Kagami, Earth's foremost expert on alien psychology, had been working with a team to deconstruct everything about the Concordat meeting. The species represented weren't random, Kagami explained. Each represents a different evolutionary path, a technological apex predator, an adaptive social species, a transcendent energy being, and Miklazik's species, which appears to have evolved as planetary caretakers. They're showing us the diversity of the Concordat. And testing which approach we take, Ochoa realized. Exactly. They expect us to either attempt a technological solution and fail, try a military response and confirm their fears, or beg for mercy and demonstrate weakness. So what's our fourth option? Vance asked. Dr. Morozov stood suddenly. I have it. We can't build quantum stabilizers, but we don't need to. We need to build something they've never seen before. 24 hours later, a fleet of 17 Earth vessels approached the Vitari system, each carrying something precious, representatives of every human culture, discipline, and perspective. Artists alongside soldiers, farmers with physicists, children with elders. When they arrived, they found the Concordat already there watching. What is the meaning of this? Miklazik's transmission came immediately. This is not a scientific or military solution. No, Ochoa replied. It's a human solution. What happened next would be recorded in both human and Concordat histories as the Vitari Symphony. While Dr. Morozov led a small team to deploy modified gravitational sensors around the unstable star, the other 16 ships spread throughout the system, each establishing contact with one of the dying worlds. They didn't bring technology to save them. They brought humanity itself, its diversity, creativity, and indomitable spirit. Each ship became a beacon, transmitting human knowledge, art, music, literature, philosophy, and most importantly, hope. As the Concordat watched in baffled silence, humans did what they did best. They connected, adapted, and inspired. The Vitari Symphony reached its crescendo on the final day. Dr. Morozov's team had discovered something unexpected. The quantum instability wasn't random. It displayed patterns similar to neural activity, as if the star itself was trying to communicate. It's not dying, she realized with awe. It's evolving. While the Concordat had approached the problem as a technical malfunction to be corrected, humanity recognized something they had experienced themselves, the painful transition of becoming something new. The ecological collapse wasn't a disaster to prevent, but a metamorphosis to guide. Admiral Vance confronted Miklazik directly. You knew, didn't you? This wasn't just a test for us, it was a test for you as well. The Grand Overseer's multiple eyes blinked in sequence, a gesture they now recognized as contemplation. Explain your reasoning, human. Your 16 specialist teams didn't fail because the problem was unsolvable. They failed because they approached it with predetermined solutions. You've forgotten how to see with new eyes. Across the Vitari system, the human vessels had established communication networks between the panicking alien species, helping them understand what was happening and how to adapt rather than fight against the change. Artists created visualizations of the quantum patterns, helping scientists recognize solutions they'd been blind to. Musicians composed harmonies that matched the star's fluctuations, revealing underlying order in the chaos. In perhaps the most surprising development, the children aboard the human vessels proved invaluable. Their minds unburdened by conventional scientific thinking, they suggested approaches that seasoned xenophysicists had never considered. "We're not trying to stop what's happening," Ochoa explained to the Concordate representatives who had gathered to witness the human intervention. "We're helping the Vitari species ride the wave of change." Kira added, "Your Concordate has become so fixated on stability and control that you've forgotten the value of creative adaptation." The spider-like alien clicked its mandibles. "Your species is taking an enormous risk. If your assessment is incorrect, then we fail together," Vance said simply. "But we try everything first." As the final hours ticked down, Dr. Morozov's team deployed their makeshift quantum resonators, devices originally designed for deep space communication, repurposed to amplify and harmonize the star's fluctuations rather than dampen them. "It's working," she whispered as the readings stabilized, "not by forcing the quantum particles back to their original state, but by helping them complete their transition to a new equilibrium." The luminous orb alien expanded, its light pulsing rapidly. "Fascinating. The star is establishing a new quantum paradigm, one that should have been catastrophic for organic life." "But it isn't," Morozov pointed out, "because the life forms are adapting alongside it, guided by the knowledge we're sharing." Miklazic approached Ochoa. "You have not solved the problem as we defined it." "No," Ochoa agreed. "We redefined the problem. That's what humanity does best. We don't always find the right answer, but we excel at asking better questions." The Concordate representatives withdrew to deliberate, while the human fleet continued their work. As the quantum transition reached completion, something extraordinary happened. The star stabilized into a state that allowed life to continue, but fundamentally changed the nature of matter in the system. The three sentient species began to exhibit new capabilities, their biology responding to the altered quantum state. They were evolving, just as humanity had evolved throughout its history. The Concordate's evaluation chamber was unlike anything the human delegation had seen before. Its walls shifted and flowed like liquid mercury, occasionally forming images from Earth's history, moments of both tremendous achievement and terrible failure. Grand Overseer Miklazic stood with the Council of Elders, 13 beings representing the founding species of the Concordate. Some appeared physical, others manifested as patterns of light or distortions in space itself. All focused their attention on the four humans who had been summoned to hear their verdict. Ambassador Ochoa, Admiral Vance, Director Estley, Dr. Morozov, Miklazic addressed them formally. "The Concordate has completed its assessment of your species." The chamber fell silent, the mercurial walls freezing into perfect stillness. "Humanity has failed to comply with our directive to withdraw from interstellar space," Miklazic continued. "Furthermore, you directly challenged our authority by pursuing an unauthorized approach to the Vitari crisis." Admiral Vance tensed, his hand instinctively moving toward the emergency beacon that would signal Earth's defense fleet to activate contingency protocols. However, Miklazic's voice shifted to a tone they hadn't heard before. "You have demonstrated qualities the Concordate has not witnessed in 17,000 cycles of expansion." The spider-like elder clicked forward. "Your species embodies contradictions we find intriguing. You are individually fragile yet collectively resilient, technologically primitive yet conceptually sophisticated, fractious among yourselves, yet unified when facing external challenges." The luminous orb pulsed. "Most significantly, you approached the Vitari crisis not as conquerors or saviors, but as catalysts for evolution. This perspective has been absent from the Concordate for millennia." Kira Esley stepped forward. "With respect, what does this mean for Earth and our colonies?" A new elder spoke, a being composed of crystalline structures that refracted light in hypnotic patterns. "It means we have misjudged not only humanity but ourselves." The Concordat was founded to preserve balance in the galaxy, yet we have instead fostered stagnation. Ambassador Ochoa could hardly believe what he was hearing. Are you saying we've passed your test? No, Miklazic replied. We are saying you have exposed flaws in the test itself. The Concordat has governed space for so long that we forgot our own origins, the chaotic creative period of our development that spurred our greatest advancements. Dr. Morozov's scientific curiosity overcame her diplomatic restraint. The quantum technology your civilization possesses. It came from a transition similar to what's happening in the Vitari system, didn't it? The crystalline elder's facets shifted. Precisely. Our oldest member species evolved during a cosmic transition we called the Great Harmony, when the quantum fabric of our home system underwent spontaneous reorganization. We survived by adaptation, not control. And over time you forgot that lesson, Admiral Vance concluded. Miklazic's multiple eyes blinked in what they now recognized as an expression of profound agreement. The Concordat has reached a unanimous decision. Humanity will not be required to withdraw from interstellar space. Relief flooded through the human delegation, but Kira remained cautious. What conditions come with this judgment? Just one. The luminous orb expanded. Humanity must teach us what we have forgotten. Miklazic explained. We propose an exchange. The Concordat will share technological knowledge to help your species advance, and in return, humanity will share its unique perspective, your creativity, your adaptability, your willingness to embrace change rather than fear it. Ambassador Ochoa looked at his colleagues, saw the same mixture of disbelief and hope in their eyes. This isn't what we expected when we came before you. No, agreed the Spider Elder. And that is precisely why it must happen. The Concordat requires rejuvenation. As the meeting concluded and the humans prepared to return to Earth with news that would forever change human history, Admiral Vance turned to Miklazic with one final question. The Vitari crisis. You could have solved it yourselves, couldn't you? The Grand Overseer's skin rippled with what might have been amusement. We could have prevented it entirely, but then, Admiral, we would never have discovered what humanity truly has to offer the stars. 5 years after the Concordat's judgment, Earth had changed beyond recognition. Quantum technology shared by the alien coalition had revolutionized every aspect of human society. Energy was effectively limitless. Disease had become manageable through quantum cellular restructuring. Climate patterns had stabilized under careful management, but technology was only half of the transformation. At the newly constructed Harmony Center in the Sahara, once a desert, now a thriving ecosystem, Admiral Vance, now retired, watched as a delegation of 30 different Concordat species interacted with humans from every corner of Earth. Still can't quite believe it, can you? Ambassador Ochoa joined him on the observation platform. That we went from facing extinction to becoming the most influential newcomers in galactic politics within 5 years? Vance shook his head. No, I really can't. Below them, Dr. Morozov was demonstrating what had become known as the human method, teaching Concordat scientists to approach problems by embracing uncertainty rather than controlling it. Nearby, Kira Esley led a workshop on cultural exchange, helping both humans and aliens understand the value of perspective shifting. The Concordat had grown too comfortable with their power, Ochoa reflected. They'd forgotten that evolution requires disruption, and humanity is nothing if not disruptive, Vance chuckled. Their conversation was interrupted by a soft chime, a quantum communication from the Concordat High Council. Grand Overseer Miklazic's image appeared before them, his blue skin now bearing the ceremonial markings of transformation. Admiral Ambassador, he greeted them. The Council requires your presence. We face an unprecedented situation. Within hours they had been transported to the Concordat's central world, a massive ring world orbiting a carefully engineered star. There they were led to the Chamber of Eldest Thought, where the founding members of the Concordat had gathered. We have detected a signal, Miklazic explained without preamble. From beyond the galactic barrier. The luminous orb Elder expanded. For the entirety of our existence, We believed our galaxy to be isolated, that the void between galaxies was impassable, even for communication. Something's trying to contact you? Vance asked. Us, corrected the crystalline elder. The signal was directed specifically to coordinates encompassing both concordate space and Earth's expansion zone. Dr. Morozov and Kira had joined them, along with other human specialists who had been working with the Concordat. Morozov immediately grasped the implications. Whoever sent this knows about our alliance. They've been watching. The signal was displayed, a complex quantum pattern unlike anything the Concordat had encountered in millions of years of existence. Their best interpreters had failed to decipher it. We believe it may be a warning, Miklazic admitted. Or perhaps an invitation. Without understanding it, we cannot know. Kira studied the pattern, then surprised everyone by laughing softly. It's neither. It's a test, just like the one you gave us. The humans worked together in a way that still astonished the Concordat, not through hierarchical command or consensus building, but through structured chaos. Ideas flowed freely, were challenged, discarded, combined, and refined. Within days, they had deciphered the fundamentals of the message. It's from what you might call a higher evolutionary plane, Dr. Morozov explained to the assembled elders. Beings that transcended physical form millions of years ago. They've been observing galaxies throughout the universe, waiting for the right combination of species to emerge. What combination? Asked the Spider Elder. Admiral Vance smiled. Order and chaos, structure and disruption. The Concordat and humanity. Together we represent something they haven't seen before. Ambassador Ochoa completed the thought. They're offering to show us the next stage of evolution. Not just technological advancement, but a fundamental shift in existence itself. The Concordat Council fell silent processing this revelation. For beings who had ruled the galaxy for millions of years, the concept of a greater power was difficult to accept. Finally, Miklazic spoke. What do you recommend, humans? Admiral Vance looked at his colleagues, then addressed the ancient assembly, with simple human directness. I recommend we answer them. And so, 5 years and 3 months after Earth had faced extinction at the hands of the Concordat, humanity and the ancient alliance sent a unified response into the void between galaxies. They did not know what would come of it. Transcendence, challenge, or something beyond their comprehension. But they faced it together. As Dr. Morozov activated the quantum transmitter, sending their reply across impossible distances, she turned to Admiral Vance with a smile. Not bad for a species that was nearly relegated to a single solar system. Vance watched the signal disappear into the blackness of space. Earth didn't just find its place among the stars, he reflected. We taught the stars themselves how to change. And somewhere in the darkness between galaxies, something ancient and patient received their answer and began to move toward the tiny spiral galaxy where order and chaos had finally learned to dance together. The universe would never be the same again.